If I told you that the ultimate weapon to defeat a multi-million-dollar security system with its high walls, barbed wire, and 24/7 patrols wasn't dynamite, wasn't a gun, but was this miso soup spoon, would you believe me? Sounds like a gag from a cartoon, right? But no, this is the true story of Yoshie Shiratori, the man who turned Japan's most impenetrable prisons into a running joke, and proved that the biggest flaw in any system isn't in the walls, but right inside our own heads. Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're not going to talk about how to escape from prison. We're going to talk about how the human brain, as sophisticated as it is, regularly escapes from logic in the most spectacular ways. Yoshie Shiratori wasn't a violent criminal. He was convicted of theft and manslaughter. But what made him a legend wasn't his crime, it was his talent. Shiratori was an escape artist, a master of evasion, a man who probably should have taught contortionist yoga instead of serving time. One of his special skills was the ability to dislocate his own joints at will. Yes, you heard that right. This man could fold himself like a human pretzel. His most famous escape, and the one that was the ultimate insult to the system, was from Akita prison. This place was specially designed to hold him, with custom-made handcuffs and a sleek, state-of-the-art solitary confinement cell. The wardens confidently declared not even an ant could get through. And they were right, an ant couldn't, but Shiratori could. Every day, he used the metal rim of his miso soup bucket, scraping it against the food slot in his door to wear it down and create a small, sharp piece of metal. Then, for months, using that makeshift tool and his trusty spoon, he painstakingly dug a tunnel right under the floorboards of his cell. A little bit each day, like a diligent termite. And where did he hide the dirt? He flushed it down the toilet. A masterpiece of patience and a blatant disregard for the laws of physics. While the guards were busy checking if the steel doors were strong enough and the walls were thick enough, Shiratori was busy constructing a subway system right under their feet. They had prepared for an attack of brute force, but were completely defeated by quiet persistence and a spoon. And this is where the story gets really interesting. The failure of Akita prison wasn't a technical failure. It was a classic logical fallacy that all of us commit, the focusing illusion. They were so focused on the obvious and familiar threats, picking locks, breaking walls, riots, that they completely ignored something as harmless and mundane as a soup spoon. They had built a cage for a lion, but forgot they were locking up an eel. Our brains work the exact same way. We are the wardens of our own mental prisons. At work, your boss might spend hours nitpicking typos and margins in a report while completely missing a giant strategic flaw that could tank the entire company. Why? Because typos are easy to see, easy to criticize, easy to control. The strategic flaw, however, requires deep thinking, and that's scary. It's the same in relationships. Couples might have a fiery argument over who forgot to take out the trash, while ignoring the fact that they haven't truly listened to or shared with each other for months. The bag of trash is the spoon, a small tangible problem that's easy to blame, but that deafening silence, that's the tunnel that's eroding their entire relationship. We even deceive ourselves. We panic about gaining a pound or two after the holidays, but ignore the habit of doom scrolling late into the night that's eroding our mental and physical health every single day. We obsess over the small, measurable things and ignore the larger, more ambiguous problems. Yoshie Shiratori escaped from prison 4 times in his life, and each time was a lesson in human short-sightedness. He didn't just climb over walls, he climbed over the biases inside the guards' minds. He didn't break his cuffs, he broke their logic. The story of the prisoner and his spoon isn't just a thrilling anecdote. It's a sharp reminder that sometimes the greatest threats or the most amazing opportunities don't come from the loud, obvious places. They often come disguised as small, mundane things, the spoons we see every day and pay no attention to. We are brilliant wardens in the prisons of our own making, guarding the iron gates so carefully that we forget the real escape route might be right under our feet, requiring only a little patience and a tool nobody would ever suspect. So, the next time you feel stuck, take another look. Maybe you don't need a sledgehammer to break down the wall. Maybe what you really need is just a spoon. The question is, what's your prison? And more importantly, where is your spoon?